In your adventures through the Kingdom of Bohemia, you're guaranteed to make a few mistakes and have missteps along the way. But with a little bit of knowledge, you can avoid these problems entirely. And in this video, we're gonna go over 7 mistakes that everyone makes in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Let's start with the mistake that many people make at the start of the game, and that's not utilizing potions and saving. When you are first let out into the world from Bojana's hut, she will introduce you to the alchemy table, which you can use to make potions. If you've played the first Kingdom Come Deliverance, you probably already know that there are limited ways of saving in this game, and you aren't just allowed to save like most games. You either need to use a bed that is yours, or by drinking savior schnapps, which you can craft yourself on the alchemy table using nettle and belladonna. Or if you're lazy like me, or you don't want to spend your time making potions, you can also buy them from alchemists and innkeepers around the world. In addition to saving the game, the potions will also heal you and boost your strength, agility, and vitality temporarily, and the higher the quality of the potion, the better the buffs will be. If you simply don't have any savior schnapps, the first bed you find where you can save for free is the mat in Bojana's house. Note that this is not the bed that you are being taken care of in, but where Hans was sleeping and being taken care of. One of the first things I recommend you do is once you get the Wedding Crashers quest, meet with either the blacksmith Radovan in Takov or Miller Krazel in Lower Samine, and you will get access to another bed where you can save for free, and also a chest that can be accessed in all your future rooms and select inns. Back to the potions though. There are other good potions you can make like Artemisia, which increase your strength and therefore allowing you to carry more temporarily, the Nighthawk potion, which gives you night vision, and the Marigold decoction, which acts as your average health potion. There are many other useful potions in this game involving other skills, but one potion I always recommend having on you at all times is a digestive potion. In my first playthrough of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, pretty early on I got soft locked for over an hour because I ate something poisoned and had no way to cure the poison where I was specifically on the map. This wasn't the only time I accidentally ate old food and got food poisoning, but after the first time, I always made sure I had at least one digestive potion on me, and I suggest you do the same. The next mistake I see people make is not getting pebbles early. Once you're all set with alchemy, this is when I recommend you find a horse, specifically Henry's original horse Pebbles, which was found as being held by groom Balate in Samine, and also has the potential to be one of the best horses in the game. If you go down to Samine and talk to the groom, you can tell him that Pebbles is technically your horse, and if you have high enough speech or intimidation, you can get Pebbles back for free, which would be the best outcome. But if you do fail, you'll have to at least pay 150 coins for Pebbles. At this point, you might not have 150 coins, but there are still plenty of other ways to make 150 coins this early in the game. One of those ways being stealing from the groom himself. If you're willing to do a little thieving and pickpocketing, you'd sneak into the groom's house at night and pickpocket him. If you don't have any lockpicks, one of the easiest ways to get your first lockpick is once you get outside of the pillory in Troskowitz. There's going to be a lady calling out to you in red by the name of Bara, and if you ask her for some help to getting clothes, she won't get you any clothes, but she'll give you a lockpick to go steal some clothes. Another thing you could do is pickpocket keys from the guards or the groom nearby, and get inside his house that way. When you first get Pebbles, Pebbles is in fact not the best horse in the game, but there is a perk in the game that you can get called Good Old Pebbles, which will increase Pebbles' stats substantially. All you need to do is ride Pebbles for around 35 kilometers, and this doesn't include fast traveling. Another way you can get the skills by going to the road around Trotsky Castle, selecting Follow Road going counterclockwise, and letting the game go on autopilot for around half an hour. Once you've unlocked the skill, it should be visible in your Horseman skill tab or your sidekick screen. Mistake number 3 is skipping random encounters. Now that you officially have one of the best horses in the game, it'll be a lot easier to travel around the map and save some time. The first time you travel to a town, you'll unlock fast travel locations, which will save you a lot of time traveling to and from town. And whether you're riding around manually between towns or fast traveling, you'll have a chance to run into random encounters around set locations. Some of these encounters will include NPCs with unique equipment, treasure maps, dice, or traders, which 9 times out of 10 I recommend stopping by and not skipping. Not all of these encounters are friendly, of course, as you can also be ambushed by bandits, wolves, and random thugs on the road. Aside from the wolves, which I may stop for if I'm feeling quite hungry, I always stop for these other encounters because you can often find weapons and armor that could be upgrades or worth some extra coins. Some of these encounters can also lead to quests, activities, and tasks, which can play out differently, but can still be obtainable if you miss the encounter. Still, I recommend stopping by for most encounters just in case. Bonus tip: don't forget to tip your host and pay the king's tax of at least 1 like or 1 sub. The funds will definitely go to good use and won't be used to play more Farkle. Mistake number 4 is neglecting combat and master strikes. Stopping for some of these encounters may be challenging, especially when you haven't spent a lot of time training your swords or weapons. So when you first start fighting, you're not going to be very good. So once you get tired of being bullied on the road, head west towards the Nomad camp, and you'll find a man named Tomcat in the back who is willing to train you. During this time, he'll teach you a few combos, but what we really want here are master strikes, which he says he'll teach you once you defeat him in a duel. If your skills aren't high enough to defeat him, a great way to level your fighting skills is to practice a few times with him, as it's another way you can level your weapon skills. Once you start practicing, you can practice as many times as you want, and it'll keep increasing your skills. Once you're able to beat him in a practice fight where you feel confident, Find a set of gear and challenge him to a duel. Once you've beaten him, they'll teach you the art of the Master Strike, which are basically unblockable counterattacks, which once mastered, will make combat a lot more trivial and allow you to fight stronger opponents and more opponents at once. Getting the skill early will make traveling around the world in general a lot easier, so I highly recommend doing this early on. Mistake number 5 is not setting up loadouts. When you go to your inventory screen, you'll notice there are a couple different colored shields below your character, and these are where you set up your loadouts. You should have a total of 3 loadouts, and I recommend setting up one for a charisma set, one for a combat set, and one for a thieving set. On my first run, I tried my best to play the game with one loadout, but it wasn't really working out in all situations, so I opted to having a separate loadout dedicated to what I was currently doing. My biggest pet peeve with these loadouts are that sometimes quests will change what you're wearing for quest reasons and straight up ruin the loadout. I hope eventually this gets fixed, but keep it in mind that when you're questing, some quests might mess with your primary loadout. Mistake number 6 is ignoring the benefits of thieving. Now you probably don't have a thieving outfit at this point and have just been running around naked, or maybe you have a few pieces. But if you go to the bathhouse in Zhelyov, take a trip upstairs and open the chest there, you can find a full thief set, which is honestly a pretty decent thief set to start out with. With this outfit, we can get to the good stuff, that being thieving. The thievery skill encapsulates both pickpocketing and lockpicking, reducing the chances of you being caught and allowing you to pick locks easier. As your level increases, you're able to reliably unlock more complex locks, allowing more room for error. If you want to practice leveling these skills without having the chance of getting caught, you can talk to Hensel in Lower Samim, who will teach you and allow you to practice with him. Once you're comfortable and done practicing, there are a few things that you can do with these skills. For starters, you can go into people's houses or shops at night and start robbing them blind. Once you have a bunch of stolen goods, you don't want to be caught with them, else you could get them confiscated, or worse, you could get put in the pillory, caned, branded, or even hanged, resulting in a game over. But if you're a good thief or have enough riz, you'll never have to worry about this. There are a couple ways you can get rid of stolen goods. You can place them in your personal chest and wait for the stolen status to disappear, and then sell them to any vendor, or you can sell the items to a fence. If you choose the fence route, early on your 2 choices are the Miller in Lower Samim, or Fence Whitebeard in the Nomad Camp. These 2 people will buy your stolen gear at a discounted rate, no questions asked. In addition to fencing items, you can also fence stolen horses in the Nomad Camp too. If you talk to the horse handler Mikolai, he will tell you he will also pay for horses you bring to him to sell on the horse black market. You'll only take 1 horse per day, but depending on the horses, you can get hundreds or even thousands of groschen for a single horse. This is also the same person you talk to if you steal a horse and you want to make it your permanent horse. Bonus tip, but for real this time I swear. There's another way to make some extra change throughout the game, and that's through playing Farkle. Now maybe you're a Farkle hater, maybe you love Farkle, doesn't really matter. But what does matter is that there's a die that you can get early game through thieving, and that is the Saint Antiochus Die, which can only roll the number 3. And if we had a full set of these Saint Antiochus Die, we would literally never be able to lose a game. Now there are multiple places around the game that you can get these rare die, but one of the easiest ones to obtain is from a man by the name of Dice Player Philip in Troskowitz. While you could attempt to pickpocket him throughout the day, the easiest way would be to steal it at night. After around like midnight or 1 AM, you can usually find Philip sleeping upstairs in the inn, and I recommend saving right before you pickpocket him, just in case you get caught. But while he sleeps, sift through his pockets until you find his gold die. If you're having trouble finding it, it may be useful to take other things out of his pocket too, for a higher chance for the die to show up. Once you have it, we need to wait a few days, come back, and repeat the process, and do this a total of 6 times. Once you've acquired yourself a full set of St. Antiochus die, it'll be practically impossible for you to lose a game ever again. So feel free to place those big bets anytime someone offers you to play a game of dice. And lastly, mistake 7 is ruining your reputation. Reputation is represented by those little happy faces you see next to the towns on the map, which represent your status towards factions and the public in general. And many of your dialogue options, actions, and NPC interactions can affect your reputation. If you go to the Reputation tab, you can see a bigger breakdown of your reputations. If you're caught being a nuisance, stealing, or killing, this can negatively affect your reputation. And at that point, some NPCs may stop speaking to you, merchants may increase their prices, and guards may start keeping an extra eye on you. But there are a few ways you can fix this. For example, haggling will not only make you a few coins on the side, but can also increase your speech skill and earn you some extra reputation while selling the equipment you find. If you add a little extra on top too, that can gain you even more reputation. You can also find one of those little chests usually near the church to pay indulgence, basically just donating to the church to get your reputation up. Naturally, completing quests and being nice in your dialogue will also help your reputation, but if you talk to set priests, for example Father Nicodemus and Trotsky, they have the ability to send you on a pilgrimage so you can pray for absolution. Knowing these things, you should have no problem improving your reputations. If you want to see my first blind playthrough of the game, check out the video on the screen now, and I hope this video helps you through your adventures in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. But until next time, thanks for watching, and take care.